Hi guys, Tony the T-Man here, and today I wanted to go over some of the different things that I've learned while I have put a lot of time into researching different kinds of prosthetics and different types of bottom dysphoria alleviating things for trans men. So today I wanted to just go over some of them, and I wanted to talk about some of the different things that you should avoid when it comes to looking at what prosthetic you want and some of the companies that maybe you should be a little bit wary of. So, some of the biggest issues I see across the internet is price differences. Um, there are, $1 to $2 price differences for some of the cheaper STPs, but the more expensive ones tend to have really dramatic price differences. So I want to talk about some of the different companies that you can work with and who might be suited for you or who maybe you should stay away from. So the first company I want to talk about is Transetics. Transetics is a company that is trans owned and operated, and they make some really high quality prosthetics, and these are on the higher price end. But overall, what you can find with Transetics is a generally level amount of quality when it comes to what you get. So when you're looking at their website, you can typically feel pretty confident about what you're going to get just from the pictures that they have. In Transetics prices, you're looking at close to $200 for some of their prosthetics, which when we're talking about higher end prosthetics, this is not a bad price. So there are a couple different kinds of prosthetics you can get. There are STPs, there are packers. STPs are just meant for standing to pee. Packers are just meant for packing. There's 2-in-1s, which are pack and pee, or pack and play sometimes. But the pack and pee would mean that you can pack with it and you can use it to pee, of course. And the pack and play would mean that you can pack with it and you can also use it for playtime whenever you're getting around with your partner. And then there's 3-in-1s, which is going to be usually pack, play, and pleasure. I'm sorry, pack, play, and pee. That's what it is. So you can pack with it, you can pee with it, and then you can play with it. So, usually it'll have a rod, or it'll be hard enough where you can insert it. Different kinds of prosthetics are available. And then there's the 4-in-1s, which are usually pack, play, pee, and pleasure. So you can pack with it, you can pee with it, you can use it for play, and it also stimulates your growth. So there's a couple different kinds of prosthetics you can get, and depending on which of, the combination of any of them, it'll change the price range, of course. So when you're looking with Transetics, you're looking at more towards STP packers, so 2-in-1s, or the 4-in-1s. So $200 for a 4-in-1, not bad at all. Actually, their super realistic play packer is $295, which is not a terrible price at all for the quality that you get and for everything that it functions for. It's just fantastic. So depending on what kind of device you're looking for, you can generally know what kind of price range to go at. So that's what really I'm trying to get at, is that there are companies out there overcharging us for prosthetics. And if you do a comparison across the board, there should be a general baseline of what these prosthetics should come out to. So $300 for pack play, pleasure prosthetic is really not bad. So the next company I want to go to is ftm-stp.com. And they are not very big. You can tell by the website it's not very big. You can tell by everything going on, it's not very big. As far as pricing goes, they're pretty average. So this is not a website or a company that I see overcharging for anything or undercharging for anything. The one thing that I do see is that they're not a very big company, so they haven't had a whole lot of reviews. So when it comes to some of their less, on the market things, um, I can't really tell you what kind of quality you're going to get or anything like that. But I can tell you that, their pricing is pretty similar to what you can see across the rest of everyone who's charging us correctly. All right. And then they have just like basic packers, harnesses, stuff like that. Nothing crazy. Next product, or the next company I'm going to go to is ftmstp.com. This is run by Benson Davis. He's another guy on YouTube. And I have not heard positive things about this company. I'm just going to be real honest. I've not heard positive things about this company. As far as I can tell, they do overcharge for their things. Beyond that, the shipping is ridiculous. So he has 100-day standard shipping. And then if you want to pay for what he calls like fast-ish shipping, literally, go look it up on the website, ftmstp.com. For this fast-ish shipping, it's like $50. For the fastest shipping, it's an extra $150. That's insane. It's just insane. It's insane. Especially because that's the shipping across all of his products, whereas there are some companies who have pre-made, versions of things, and then they have the specialty made things. And the pre-made versions are usually able to be shipped out relatively quickly because they're pre-made, whereas the specialty items, of course, take longer. But when you go onto his website, every item has this kind of shipping, which doesn't really make any sense. So, but if you look up reviews of other people, sometimes you'll come across one where they get a product from him that is not good quality. So, definitely check out, everything surrounding different companies. You want to make sure you know as much as you possibly can know, because at the end of the day, we're not out here buying shirts. We're not out here buying shoes. We're not out here, getting stuff that we just want. This is stuff we need. And people who exploit that are grimy. So, just make sure that you take the time to, excuse me, to really look at who you're buying from. Because you don't want to waste your money, and you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to make your dysphoria worse, stuff like that. Alright, the next company I'm going to go to is Freetom Prosthetics. And I love Freetom, not gonna lie. I have a little bit of a crush on them, because I think that they're a really, really great company, and they care a lot, and they definitely put time and energy into their company and building their image and making sure that they reach out to us at a relatively good time. So with Freetom, they are one of the bigger businesses, so they tend to have a little bit faster shipping, a little bit more items to provide. Their pricing ranges very heavily, though. So, because of Freetom's bigness, because they are just a big company, they do have options available that other companies don't. So they can paint their STPs, they can paint their prosthetics, they can, make them just super realistic, and that does add, some extra change on there. But if you're looking at an STP or a packer that is not painted, their prices are phenomenal. I also kind of have heard a lot of negative things about painted prosthetics, only because over time the paint does wear away, it chips, it cracks, whatever. And that can be really unfortunate for something that you spent a lot of money on. So with the prosthetics that are not painted, which is one that I have, the realism is still very prevalent. So you don't have to worry about it not being painted and not looking realistic. It's still super realistic. You can go check out my STP video and look at how nice my STP looks. And what's really cool about Freetom is that sometimes they have clearance items, so they will sell, you know, the prosthetics that got a little messed up, or they'll just have a sale because why not? So a $100 prosthetic I ended up getting for $37, which is a big difference. You know, that's a big thing for me. So it's really about just checking and double checking and checking again, because you're gonna come across it one day and just be like, oh my gosh, the perfect prosthetic for me, it's the perfect price, I can do this right now, fantastic. But you gotta wait. You gotta wait, you gotta put the time in to find the one that works for you. Do not just go to the first website you see and be like, oh, this one looks fine. It's a good price, it'll work for what I need, fine. Don't do that. Go look at many websites. Go find all the different companies that have different prosthetics, because they have different pricing and they have different shipping and different customer service. You know, they have different people who care and different people who don't care, and you just want to make sure that who you're going with does actually care about the product that you get. It's your money, it's your time, it's your dysphoria. You gotta make sure that you actually put in the time to look for what you're looking for. So with Freetom, it's just really great because of those sales sometimes. You know, sometimes you'll just find this really great prosthetic for you on sale. So check out prosthetic.com. They have some really great, you know, 4-in-1s, pack and plays, STPs, and just packers. Go check out that stuff. They also have harnesses and binders and, you know, other stuff. Alright. So the next company I wanted to go to is by far my favorite. That is Gendercat.com. And the reason I love Gendercat so much is just because of what product they supply specifically. But we're not going to talk about the product that they supply. We're just going to talk about their pricing and customer service and overall what you're looking at as far as reliability in products you get. So I have never heard a bad review about any Gendercat product, ever. There's been no evidence to support the claim that anything that they have done is not up to par, because they're fantastic, and they're way beyond par. They're above average as far as caring about trans men and trans women. So not only do they offer prosthetics for men, but they also offer prosthetics for women, which is really cool, because like, how many trans companies out there, you know, not only care about trans men but also trans women. Awesome. So with Gendercat, their customer service is above and beyond. They really try to make sure that they always communicate with you and let you know like what's going on. I have never sent an email and not gotten a reply, so they've always emailed me back, which is awesome, and they've always been really nice and supportive, and I honestly feel cared about by this company, which is crazy, because how, like, it's a company, you know, they normally you don't feel cared about by a company, you feel like just a person spending money for them. But Gendercat offers payment plans, and they will send you your prosthetic before you're done paying it off. You do have to put a down payment, but once you pay that down payment, you can, you know, decide how much you want to pay a month, and then as soon as it's finished, it gets shipped out to you, regardless of how paid off or not paid off it is. So that's really cool, and, you know, for somebody to care so much that they make payment plans, knowing that it could sometimes affect them negatively, it's just heart-wrenching, you know, that's just amazing. So, Gendercat is really awesome. Their pricing is really fair. So you're looking around $200 to get one of the Gendercat prosthetics, and for everything that it comes with, it's such a great thing, you know. Gendercat is obviously not a company that is trying to exploit us, and you can just tell in, you know, how they run their company and the pricing that they do offer. You know, they could offer a lot more for these prosthetics. And at the end of the day, when you're looking at the higher end versus the lower end, Gendercat is not lower end, and they still charge a phenomenal price. So there's that. Alright. Next one I would like to go to is realmagic.com. So that's REEL Magic, MIGIK.com. And Real Magic is definitely the most pricey FTM store you could look at. I'm not gonna lie. There's a good reason. So, one of the things that Real Magic does is that they are all about super realism. So no matter what you're looking at on their website, Packer, STP, Pack and Play, doesn't matter. Any of these are going to look super realistic. They're going to be, under close scrutiny, super realistic. They not only have, veins and coloration and the balls and the floating testicles, but they also do hair implants. So they will, hand punch hair into the tab of the prosthetic for you so that you can put it on and it feels just like you. And it's really cool. Their Packers are not terribly priced. Actually, if I was going to go with a Packer, I might actually just choose one of the Real Magic ones because their Packers are really great priced for being super realistic. You're looking at about $30 for the smallest, most basic one, $40 for a little bit bigger, $60 for a little bit bigger, and then the biggest one is also $60. So their pricing is fantastic. When you're thinking about Packers that are super realistic, this pricing is great. As far as looking to save money, this pricing is not great because there are some Packers that are like $12. There are some Packers that you can get for under $20 that are just as great, They're not going to be super realistic. They're not going to have the floating testicles. But they will pack, and that's what some dudes need at the end of the day, is just to feel a bulge, is just to feel something there. So is this something that I would get if I just needed to feel like there was something there? No, absolutely not. I'd probably go with the Mr. Limpy or the Packer Gear Packer, maybe the Packet, Hugo, whatever, Masho. I'm sorry. But as far as, if I wanted something that was super realistic, that I felt great about, and whatever, if for whatever reason the realism was a big deal to me, I'd go with this. So it's really about making sure you're going with a company that isn't just trying to charge you a bunch of money for something that doesn't really need to be charged a bunch of money for. So these Packers, fantastic. As far as, when you're looking at the pack and plays, which are going to have, the hair punched, and they're going to be pretty long so that you can do some penetration. Yeah, so the pack and plays, let me see. Sorry. Oh, and Real Magic also has payment plans. But I don't think they ship before it's paid off. So the pack and plays are rough. On the low end, you're looking at $379 without any upgrades. And that's for a 2.25 inch prosthetic model, which, if you really wanted to be able to insert 2 1/4 of a dick, whatever you're feeling, I'm not gonna judge. Yeah. So, it does say flaccid only, so I'm assuming that, you're not really supposed to play with it. So then let's actually go to the ones that you can play with. So the basic one starting that you can play with is $479. The most expensive one that you can play with is $529. And these are without upgrades. That's without the hair, that's without, you know, any Paint Plus upgrades, anything like that. That is just the dick. And that's expensive. That's a lot. That's a lot. The one thing you have to remember with Real Magic is that they are about the realism. So you're not just paying for a dick that you can pack with and pee with and play with. You're really paying for a dick that's supposed to feel like your dick. Real Magic is a company that works in like special effects and stuff, so they do have a lot of experience with painting prosthetics and, you know, creating them, etc., etc. So it's a company that you can trust, that when you look at the website, if you get that Paint Plus upgrade, you're going to get a penis that looks like that. But, you know, you have to pay for that Paint Plus upgrade, and it's pretty expensive. But I don't see anything about Real Magic being negative, so I don't see them as a company that is exploitive. Alright, next one. We got transguysupply.com. Alright, so transguysupply.com is just a little company, you know. They sell packers, binders, they sell harnesses, they sell, or not harnesses, but like, you know, packing boxers, and I think they sell STPs. Let me double check. Yes, they do sell STPs. So, with Transguy Supply, they sell other people's products, you know. So they sell like the Mr. Limpy and let me see which other one. Mr. Limpy. They have the Pierre and the Archer, the Mr. Right. They also have the foam insert, which is just like the easy bulge, you know. So it just looks like a little that you just stick in your boxers, gives you a little bulge. Yeah. So they sell other people's products, and one of the products in particular that I really wanted to talk about real quickly is one of the STPs that I saw on here. And this has nothing to do with Transguy Supply. This really just has to do with a company that way overcharges for their really simple prosthetics. So there's a company called Number One Laboratories, and I'm sure if you've looked around into prosthetics, you've heard of them. But they make different kinds of STPs, and very expensive STPs. So they don't do the super realism, they just do like functionality. So the STP that they sell, this is one is called the Number One STP, and on this particular website it's $50, which in itself is insane because it doesn't look realistic at all, and it's really not meant for packing. I mean, you can pack with it, you can really pack with anything, but it's not meant for it. As far as functionality goes, I think it's probably one of it's a good STP, I guess. I've seen a couple reviews of it, and it's usable, but definitely not something that you would feel like looks like a dick. So for a $50 investment to not even look remotely like a penis is really kind of absurd. Because if you go look at my STP video, I paid $37 for that. And yeah, that was on sale, but still, it's even $50 for my STP would have been phenomenal. So $50 for an STP that looks like this is just not worth it. So if you want to check that out, that is transguysupply.com, and it's the STP section. You're going to look at the Number One STP. If you look at any of the other STPs, they're also ridiculously overpriced and not worth it. So just some different things to look at. And then the last website I wanted to go to is one of the guys that I really love on YouTube. His name is Mason Luke, and he also does reviews of prosthetics and different types of, stuff for trans guys. And he has his own website where you can go and you can purchase different types of prosthetics. So mostly he sells like Emisil products, but he also has some packers. So if you go onto masonluke.com, you will see that he has a packer section, and his packers are priced the same as everybody else's. There's only one place that I've seen them cheaper than this, and that is on earlytobed.com, which there's a specific like gender identity section where you can find like different prosthetics and stuff, where they have like the best prices I've seen online. But Mason Luke does sell these for a really good price, and I would say, like, if you're gonna go look for a packer or really some other kind of stuff, because he has a lot of stuff on his website, I would recommend checking out masonluke.com. So that is all. I am so sorry, this was definitely longer than a 10-minute video, but I just really am frustrated with how little people in the trans community know about prosthetics, and it's really just because like we don't have enough exposure right now. So I want to make sure that I share as much knowledge as I know about prosthetics and pricing and fairness and what you should be looking for as much as I can, because I personally wish I could have had one person to go to and, answer most of my questions and say like, hey, stay away from this, or, try this, or whatever, and etc. So, just a couple more things. I just want to make 4 main points. Point number 1, search around. Look at as many different companies as you possibly can. Make sure that you are putting in time to really find the one that works for you, because at the end of the day, regardless of if it's $12 or if it's $170, you are making an investment towards making yourself feel better, and you want to make sure that that investment goes as smoothly as possible. If something seems suspicious, this is point number 2. If something seems suspicious, look up reviews. Go find somebody who has reviewed anything that this person has done, or this company has done, or this company has released, or anything. Go and find whatever you can find. If you can't find reviews, you take the chance of getting a product from that company that you don't like. Just be aware. Point number 3, most prosthetics are non-returnable. You cannot send these back. Once you get it, it is yours. Remember that. If you order a prosthetic that you are unsure about and thinking like, oh, I can just send it back if I don't like it, that's not how it works. They will not accept your return back. It's a health and safety issue. Please understand that. Number 4, the wait is worth it. Gosh. The wait is worth it if you're looking at a prosthetic that is a little bit out of your price range or a lot out of your price range, to save up and get that one instead of getting one that you think is lower end, that's not going to be as great, that, doesn't fit your needs, whatever. Wait until you can get the higher end one. Until then, pack with a cheap packer, use a cheap STP, whatever. Don't go making big investments because you're thinking like, I'm just trying to feel better. Those little investments will help you be able to reach that big investment. So, don't buy a bunch of really high-priced STPs and, packers and whatever, thinking that you're going to find the one that works better for you, whatever. Just take the time to look into one. Take the time to find the one that works for you. It's really about just patience. Alright guys, I think that's enough. I've rambled and talked and blah 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 for 30 minutes. That's insane. Alright. I hope this is helpful, and I hope that you guys have some more insight into what you might be looking at when it comes to prosthetics. And I hope that everybody has a great day, night, afternoon. I always say that wrong. Alright, guys. I will see you later. I love you so much. Bye.